Hey, this is Clay Richardson, Chief Accelerator with Digital FastForward. One of the things I want to talk about is one of the secrets to mastering innovation leadership. What I've been seeing as I've been working with innovation leaders over the last 3 or 4 months is innovation leaders experiencing burnout and experiencing high levels of frustration navigating relationships with stakeholders, with sponsors, with peers. How do you avoid burnout with these scenarios? Some of this really stems from the idea that as innovation leaders, it's important for us to get along with everybody, right? To make sure that the sprints, the experiences that we're facilitating are fun. It's really about prioritizing the other people's requirements or their agendas and lowering the agenda that you might have, right? When it comes to innovation, how does that help you accelerate innovation and get to consistent results, right? If we're always putting others' priorities first and really saying, hey, we're going to get there at some point, how do we actually balance that to make sure we get results? And that's really where a lot of this friction comes from. We know that we have to make innovation and design thinking, these concepts, fun, but we also know we got to get to results. The other piece that plays into this is failure. In order to innovate, we face a ton of failure, right? How many times have you tried out a new idea and that idea failed, right? When I was first introduced to design thinking going back 10, 12 years ago, one of the designers that mentored me said, expect 99% of your ideas to fail. And I was just like, okay, how does that work? 99% of my ideas failing does not sound like a good thing. A lot of times, innovation leaders develop this notion that it's comfortable to fail, like fail fast, fail to learn. I've said fail to learn. But what's not discussed is that it's still expected that failure is uncomfortable, right? If we fail over and over, it can't become this comfortable thing like, hey, I failed and I'm okay with it. And it's leading to burnout. I also was dealing with this myself, right? It's just you're trying new things, everything isn't working, you're trying new ideas, and you may not be seeing the results for that creativity. And you're reminding yourself, I know I was reminding myself, like, you got to fail to learn. And should I just get comfortable with failure? In order to drive innovation and master innovation leadership, we have to build mental toughness, right? Underscore that. Mental toughness is the key to mastering innovation leadership. Mental toughness is about following through on the idea, even if it's hard. I'm going to share with you 4 resources that I've been using that have helped me develop mental toughness. The first is something called 75 Hard. I had a leadership coach that I work with. She was telling me about it, like finishing this program, you have to work out twice a day, you drink a gallon of water every day, you read 10 pages from, a nonfiction book every day. And she was telling me about this. I'm like, why the hell would anybody want to do that? I went and did the kind of research and digging and was like, oh, wow, this sounds very cool. I signed up. What I loved about it is it was a program specifically for building mental toughness. Even though it sounds like when you look at it, it sounds like it's more like a, get in shape or build, your endurance. It actually comes down to committing to something big, following through on it, even though it's uncomfortable. Every day you have to do these things or you have to start back over. So for me, for the first 3 days, every time I had to start back over because I forgot to do something like drink the water. But then working out twice a day was really tough, trying to get in a run or working out at the gym or doing yoga, whatever. But as I've progressed, like I said, I'm on day 57 now, it's really built my confidence that when I set a goal, regardless of how uncomfortable it is, I follow through on that goal. So that's number one. I strongly recommend if you decide to do 75 Hard, definitely check out the write-up online. And I strongly encourage you to pick up the book, 75 Hard Book. And this book is really good in the sense that it gives you the thinking behind the program. The second resource I'm going to share, Winning by Tim Grover. Tim Grover was the strength trainer and really, I would say, mental coach for Michael Jordan when he went through and won the 6 rings, right? Tim Grover came out with a new book last year called Winning. It's actually about how do you develop the mindset to win, right? And not just win like, hey, I beat this person or I'm better than this person, but just the mindset to seek out challenges and actually lean into those challenges. And to me, this, if you're really looking to go to the next level as an innovation leader, this is required reading. And there's so many nuggets in there around how to not just get in the zone, but develop focus. And a lot of what Tim Grover is saying in this one particular chapter is, life is a marathon, but it's also a series of sprints, right? It's like a sprint and a marathon that never ends. As innovators, sometimes we get into, well, we'll get there sometime, and we just need to enjoy the journey. And that creates complacency sometimes in terms of moving fast and getting things done. And so in Winning, Tim Grover really lights a fire under us as innovators, definitely under me as an innovator, that I gotta move fast. We gotta keep up at a very fast pace. It doesn't mean we have to keep that pace all the time, but we have to be able to think in terms of very fast sprints, knowing that, yes, it is a marathon, but it's also sprints. The next resource, third resource, this is just one of the best books, Make Your Bed. And you may be wondering, like, how's Clay reading all this stuff and listening to this? 75 Hard. Make Your Bed. This is by William McRaven. He was a Navy SEAL. Friggin' phenomenal book, quick read. The best story he has in the book, I love this, is when he was in Navy SEAL training and how they would do the obstacle course. And he was on a run of the obstacle course. So going through the different obstacles and the different challenges on the course. And he got to the rope where basically you climb down the rope and then you move on. And he ended up getting to the rope and he just became real cautious and took his time climbing down the rope. And, when he got to the bottom, his commander said, "When will you learn, McRaven? When will you learn? You gotta go head first." And I think when I read that, it sent chills up my spine. I was just like, oh, that's what it's about. And the message there for us as innovation leaders is that we have to go head first. Sometimes we're very, very cautious or very hesitant when it comes to jumping in on innovation. But that's a reminder that for us, when we're driving innovation sprints or we're driving a specific project or initiative, the best thing you can do is go head first to get to the result. This last book has been sitting on my shelf for the last year. Breath. What can a book, how much can you really write about breath, right? It seems like overkill. Like I breathe, I'm good, right? But what's interesting as I went through this is just bringing awareness to how much of a critical role the breath plays, not just to our physical, but to our mental, our emotional, and even just, understanding what the breath really does. And this is what Breath goes through. It's really a book about breath work. It definitely got me starting to play around with breath work and realizing there's ways that I can breathe even while running that actually help me heal. I can use those same techniques when I'm in a stressful situation or I'm having a difficult conversation, I'm trying to influence. What I found is those same breath work techniques I can use to actually center and engage without having a sense of attack, right? Like I'm under attack or I need this fight or flight, right? And so that's been really helpful in terms of that mental toughness, right? if we're in fight or flight mode when we're trying to drive innovation, it kills your creativity. And that's ultimately going back to what I shared earlier, where we as innovation leaders end up burnt out because we're in fight or flight. We're thinking about how other people's agendas, we've been given a front seat and not focus on our own. But when you start using things like breath work, you have that winning mindset, having the mindset of, hey, I'm actually focused on mastering my craft and being the best, right? And so that Make Your Bed, all of those books in 75 Hard, I definitely challenge you to take all of that in terms of building the foundation for your next level of innovation leadership. Innovation leadership is not just about, having fun and being nice and prioritizing others and facilitating. It's also about mental toughness and resilience in terms of being able to fail, but still rise again and also drive towards consistent results. Definitely, I'd love to hear feedback from you. If you start on 75 Hard or you've done it, I'd love to hear your experience. I'd love to hear any tips you have around how you made it through. If you've read any of the books, or if you have other recommendations for developing mental toughness as an innovation leader, definitely share it with us, share it with our audience. I also want to share, we have a lot going on in the community, Innovation Nation. If you're not plugged in there, make sure you go to Innovation Nation. We're actually going to include a link to Innovation Nation. We're running a series of low-code masterclasses, and this is another aspect of innovation, right? So we got to be able to build, prototype, get things out quickly. And so these low-code masterclasses are designed to help you develop low-code leadership. I know that sounds weird, low-code leadership. Like, do I have to become a programmer? No, it's actually about what's the mindset, what's the roadmap, what's the strategy for applying low code to accelerate digital transformation and really to do digital acceleration. That's what we're going to be talking about in these low code masterclasses. So make sure you sign up for that. We'll include a little link for you to go and register for low code masterclasses coming up. And with that, I just want to say it's really good to share and be a part of this community and have you along for this journey. But even more importantly, to have me along on your innovation leadership journey. And so this is Clay Richardson, Chief Accelerator with Digital FastForward, signing off, and happy innovating.